Hello YouTube, this is Saint Riot, Elden Ring PvP guru, if it please you. And I was asked to make a video going over how I make invasion builds in Elden Ring. Like 90% of my builds are made from scratch, I guess you could say. Don't have anybody drop me items or anything like that for the most part, because it's fun to just play the game and, you know, play it with a different build. But I recognize not everybody has that time. But if you do have that time and you want to get this done as not efficiently, I'm sure there's more efficient ways. Look, this is just how I do it. This is going to basically be like a little checklist at a certain point. As soon as we come out of the first step, the first thing I do is kill Tree Sentinel. You don't have to do this. You can do whatever you want. But get some runes. You can just kill random regular soldiers or whatever, if it please you. I like to do Tree Sentinel, one, because it's fun, and two, because he gives us like literally the perfect amount of runes, and it's, you know, it's fun to fight him. It's good practice. It's I don't think you're supposed to be fighting him as soon as you come out. I think he's supposed to sort of teach you that some things will be beyond your capabilities. You know, like he's one of those bosses. Like, maybe don't fight everything, but I've played the game enough. You know, it's fine. Also, the weapon he drops, if you're going to run a faith build, actually pretty good. We are not going to run a faith build, but he gives us just enough runes for us to buy the pots, the crafting table thing, all of the cookbook recipes, just enough to buy all that stuff, which is nice because we're going to make some use of that. Once we've done this, the next thing we're going to do is go grab our map fragment. You should grab all your map fragments, like as soon as possible. Grab them. If you're watching this and you're using this to help you with a guide, I'm going to be showing you the map a lot. And so if you also have your map, it will be easier. Your map is always, even before you find the map, you can find where to find the map by locating that little diamond shape there. The next thing we're going to do is grab our first whetstone. This is going to allow us to put different ashes of war on weapons. It's right here. It's right next to the map. Whatever you're comfortable playing with, or whatever you want to try. If you're making a build and you have, like, you know, a certain ash of war in mind, you're going to need this. The next thing I do is I grab Bach, and it's because grabbing Bach nets us like 10 mushrooms, which we will use for making bombs and things like this. Will come in very handy later. Don't have to fight the Night Cavalry if you don't want to, but again, it's fun, and you can parry him, knock him off his horse. It's fun to practice, and it's just, you know, he's a fun guy to fight. The next thing we're doing is we're grabbing upgrade materials. So very early on, you know, if you are making a low-level invader, you're not going to need a lot of upgrade materials, but there's no reason not to have at least a +3 weapon. You know, I don't have any builds that are under like +5, I don't think. This is how I fight the dragons. Every time I fight a dragon on Twitch, people ask me like why I'm fighting the dragon the way that I fight the dragon. It's because it takes a lot of damage on his head, and you can stagger him pretty quick. So I do. I've put this in like fast forward motion. If you want to watch it slowed down, you know, you're welcome to do that on YouTube and just turn the volume off, and you can just kind of see the process. But that's going to come in handy later. We're going to need to know how to fight dragons, because my build making is dependent on beating a dragon. That's going to be where I get the majority of my my runes a little later on is from that guy. But on the topic of upgrades, there's a mine right here, and this is going to get us up to +3 weapon, I think. After all of the stuff that we find, it'll at least get us up to a +2 for sure. But I think it can get you up to a +3. The mine is located right here. Go to these mines. So this is a thing I'm just going to say. Like, when it comes to me making a build, just go everywhere, because the more places you've been, the more places you can invade. So just go everywhere, right? But the mines especially, go to the mines. This one is not really important, but it's just a way to get, you know, an upgraded weapon early on, right? The miners will be picking at the stuff on the walls. They'll drop stuff, upgrade materials. Monsters in the areas will drop them. You'll find, you know, you'll find some just laying on the ground. So do this mine, but more importantly, do the mines where you get upgrade material. Bell bearings is what they're called. We'll go over that later. But now we've got our weapon upgraded a little bit. We're going to talk to Ranni, and we're going to get our bell. I'm not going to need it for this build, but you know, sometimes you need the bell to summon. And I should go ahead and say, upgrading spirit ashes does not affect matchmaking in the same way that leveling up or upgrading your weapon does. So you don't have to worry about that. If you're going to do a particularly challenging run and you need some spirit ashes, get spirit ashes. Talk to all of your vendors. Every vendor that you can talk to them, because they're going to sell upgrade materials as well as cookbooks and, you know, just little stuff that you might want. So every vendor you come across, you know, make a mental note of where they're at, because they're going to sell you tier 1 and tier 2 smithing stones, and that can get us up to a +6 weapon. And this build is going to have fully upgraded weapons by the time it's finished. Obviously, if you're going to make like a build that has a +12 weapon as its max upgrade weapon, at a certain point you're not going to have to worry about going into the mines or going and finding the bell bearings, you know, because you won't need them. But I'm going to need all of them on this build. I'm not going to go over where to find all of this stuff. I'm not going to tell you where to find, you know, every weapon and things like this. This is just for every build I make, this stuff. We're going to spend our first runes on levels, and obviously they go straight to Vigor, because that's where they should go. I'm going to run down here and beat Pumpkinhead because I like this grace. This build is not going to need sorceries, so I'm not going to require the sorcery trainer. Selen, don't need her. I just like having this grace. It's a good grace to go, you know, to have. If you are making a sorcerer, check that place out on the map. That's where you get Carrion Slicer, and you're good. You can beat the game. I like this grace because it gives me easy access to the other side of Limgrave there. The Shaded Woods, or whatever the hell it's called. The Mistwood. That's what it's called. Find this scarab right here, and you can, after you found the scarab, you can just jump down straight into the Mistwood, and you're good. Kenneth Heights Fort has a seed so that we can upgrade our flask. You can get your first arcane, if you're making an arcane build, you can get an arcane Ash of War here from the Blood Knight guy. If you beat the Blood Knight guy, that's a thing that, you know, I don't know if people understand how easy it is to get a build up off the ground in Elden Ring. The first 2 continents have everything you're going to need to start a build, not to finish it, but to start it. This vendor here, we're going to buy those sleep arrows. We're not going to really need them, but it's good to buy them because they're cheap, and if you're going to fight something for some reason that is hard or difficult, you can just put it to sleep. The Godskin Duo, for example, or a Rune Bear, whatever. We go to the Minor Erd Tree, we pick up the tears as well as these tarnished golden sunflowers. We need these. These are important to us. Don't skip this part. We can use these to make holy water pots, and we are going to make holy water pots because they're very good. Obviously, grab our map fragment, grab the cookbook from the bear, remove all of your gestures from your bar so that you're not accidentally doing gestures all the time. And then from here, you have two choices. You can either go to the Church of Marika, or you can go ahead and take the elevator down to Siofra. I'm going to go to Siofra. Some people, I'm sure, right now are saying, that's not how you pronounce that. I don't care. It's fictional, it's made up, it's not real, it's not hurting anybody's feelings. Shut up. Down here, we can get Ghost Glovewort. There's the number 1. We can go ahead and get Ghost Glovewort up to 5, okay? Which upgrades special spirit summons, not the regular jobbers, okay? We're not summoning Honky Tonk Man, we're summoning Macho Man Randy Savage, okay? This grace right here, right over this direction, is the Scarlet Rot Bolus Cookbook. We're going to grab this because everybody in the world uses the Ixyx Decay when you invade them. So it's good to have the Scarlet Rot Cookbook. And then from there, we're going to keep finding Ghost Glovewort. The map fragment is right this way. I'm going to grab it so that I can explain things easier to you. Ghost Glovewort 2. And like I said, we can get up to Ghost Glovewort 5. And if you watch this, I might ramble and not talk about what's happening on the screen, but if you watch your screen, you will see me pick up 1 through 5. And so you can have a +5 special spirit summon. You can have a +5 Macho Man Randy Savage. And that's insane. That's a big help. You're going to get +6 to +9 once you get to Noctstella. But this early on, a +5 should help you out. We're hanging out right here. This is where we're at. There's a grace like right there. I'm not unlocking it, but this teleporter right here, it's got a bridge, a broken pillar that leads up to it. We're going to take this teleporter. This teleporter is the only one we need to take. It's going to shoot us up to the top. This is where we can grab the +5 Ghost Gravewort. You can fight the boss if you want. There's no need to. He's not going to give me anything. And I don't need that Scar Seal or Source Seal or whatever the hell it is in the waterfall. I don't need that. Maybe you do. Grab it if you want it. I'm not going to grab it. But, you know, again, I'm not going to tell you where everything in the world is at. You can just Google stuff. But, you know, if you're making a low-level build, maybe you need that Source Seal or Scar Seal or whatever the hell it is. So we got our tier 5 Ghost Glovewort. Here we get our 4 Ghost Glovewort. So we've got our 1, our 2, our 4, and our 5. All we need is our 3. There's also a seed for our flask over here, which is a must, obviously, as well. I'm going to kind of go over that a little bit. The seeds. By the time you reach the mountaintops of the giants, you can be done with your upgrading your flask completely. Like, you can have all the seeds and all the tiers by the time you get to the mountaintops. So I'm going to show you how I do that. That doesn't mean it's the only way to do it, or that there's not better ways to do it. There might be better ways. I'm just going to show you how I do it. Right around here, we're at the well that leads up to Caelid. This is where we're going to find our tier 3 Ghost Glovewort. There's a grace right there. It's very easy. And this also gives us access to the Jar Seal Talisman. If you need to go grab that, just take the elevator up. And it's, you know, a matter of... it's strange, the jar seal. It sometimes it's hard to get, sometimes it's easy. Right now it's back to being hard because they unnerfed Rivers of Blood a little bit, and Rivers of Blood on a jar seal night is busted and ridiculous. So everybody's using it again because, you know, they know it's unnerfed, right? When they nerfed it originally, you could go grab the jar seal talisman very easily because no one was using it. They were using like weird builds, and the AI, the game, doesn't know how to use a weird build. But there's no wrong way to use Rivers of Blood or Moonveil. And now that Rivers has been unnerfed, all of the Jar Knights use it. And the Jar Knights have this insane buff. They have like 4k HP, which is just completely fictional and made up. It's rough to do that at low level, but if you need to, there's ways to cheese it. So I'm going back to the Mistwood. I'm going to run past Blythe and listen to him howl so I can tell Kale about that, so that Blythe could help me beat that Darrowil Everjail if need be. You don't have to do this, but if you need to, if you want the Bloodhound Fang weapon, or you know, whatever, you want Blythe to give you that that somber smithing stone tier 2. Like if you need that, you know, make sure you just run past there, because you're headed to the church anyway. The church is going to have our wondrous physic. It's not really going to do anything for us right off the bat, but we might as well get it. It's also going to be a tier for our flask, which we do need for sure. This grace is mostly important because we're going to come here and we're going to use the teleporter that's right behind the church. It's going to take us to Caelid. And this is a thing, when do you want to go to Caelid? It's up to you entirely. I don't need to go yet, but if there's something in Caelid that you need, like your weapon, or a spell, or an Ash of War, if there's some reason you need to go to Caelid, just go whenever you need to. That's also going to give you access to the Roundtable hold, which is nice because now you can upgrade your weapon past +3. But you can take the warp chest if you want in the lake in Limgrave, or you can take this teleporter. Either way is fine. So we just made some holy water pots, and we're going to hang on to those. We need those. Those are very important for when we get to Weeping Peninsula. But for now, we're going to bounce back up, and I'll be honest, I don't know what we're doing. Maybe heading to Weeping Peninsula at this point. I'm not sure what I'm looking at. I'm not sure what I'm seeing. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? Why did I include this in this little guide? I can't begin to tell you guys how much work this guide was. To do everything and then remember to document while I was doing it what I was doing. What in the hell am I doing? I don't know. I'm going over here. I'm going to get this grace, which is fine. It's good for Darrowil, and it's good for Yura, the samurai, if you want to start their quests up. That's fine. Oh! This is what I'm doing. Of course. Of course. So right here, if you are making an intelligence build, you can go right here on the map and you can get Gravitas. That's good for intelligence builds. You want to grab it anyway. Grab Gravitas. It just makes dealing with the Titanite bugs, but they're not Titanite bugs. The scarabs. It just makes dealing with the scarabs easier. The ones that are invisible and running around in a circle, Gravitas just instantly kills them. You know, if you're making a faith build, you can go over here. You can kill this scarab, and you can get the buff my gold. And of course, at Fort Height, you can get the Bloody Slash for your arcane build. So no matter what build you're making, there you go. See? Just trust the process, Saint. You know why you're doing stuff. We've come here to the Weeping Peninsula, finally. And I'm going to grab the Ballista. You can grab this thing pretty early on into the Weeping Peninsula. I'll show you where it's at on the map. Hand Ballista or Jar Cannon are pretty much going on any build I make if the build is going to be at or around anything over 80. From there, we're going to go all the way south in the Weeping Peninsula, and we're going to go to the other tower, the Tower of Return. The Tower of Return is going to warp us to Leyndell. We can't do anything here, but we can grab the Blessed Dew Talisman. This is a must. Every invader build has to have this Blessed Dew Talisman. Sometimes people are passive as hell, and you need to heal a little bit. Blessed Dew Talisman has you covered, so make sure you grab that. So, Weeping Peninsula, here we are. I'm not sure what we're going to do next. We're either going to go fight a bird, or we're going to talk about vendors. We're talking about churches. Go to these churches. There's 3 churches. Every one of them has a tier to upgrade your flask and make your flask better. At this level, we're going to have like a +4 flask. If we look at it, it should be +4, I think. And that is... Okay, I haven't upgraded mine yet. That's enough to heal us completely. Buy our shards, our upgrade materials. Buy our cracked pots. You can buy stone sword keys if you need them. There's an HP talisman here. There's a bastard sword, crossbows, arrows, whatever you need. This vendor. Visit him. There's another vendor. Visit him. Are you making a strength build? Do you want a Zweihander? Guess who's got you covered? This fella. Also, Tier 1, Tier 2 upgrade materials, as well as the hand lamp. I love the hand lamp. I'm going to buy the lantern every time. You don't have to. I like it. I just think they're neat. He's also got arteria leaves, which are hard-ish to come by. So, if you have something that you cook that requires arteria leaves, you can buy some from this guy. There's where he's at. Alright, it's time to fight the bird. This is why we made holy water pots. Somebody showed me this and I lost my mind. Holy water pots. Boom! Look at that damage. Insane. Now you can just, cheese them with the holy water pots if you want. I like to save them. I like to, stagger him, and then when he's staggered, hit him in the head with a holy water pot, and it's just like 1 billion damage, and he dies. If you want to just chuck holy water pots at him, you're more than welcome to. But I like my way. But this is why we're doing it. We want the sacrificial axe. Sacrificial axe is a big deal. Every invader build needs the sacrificial axe. Also, since we get tarnished golden sunflowers here, right? Which is great, because we just used a bunch to make holy water urns. Holy water pots. Now we can make more holy water pots with the very same golden sunflowers, tarnished sunflowers that we just found where we fought the bird. Interesting fact, the birds seem to be located around ruins, and ruins are parts of Ferrum Azula, making the birds somehow connected to Ferrum Azula. Perhaps the death birds represent or worked with one of the old outer gods from before the Golden Order. Who can say? But there's another seed for our flask. Sacrificial axe. What it does, anytime something dies, you'll gain FP. You'll regain mana from something dying, even if you're an invader and the people you've invaded are killing regular enemies. You'll get FP back. Sometimes you have to fight for 20 minutes against a group, and in that case, if they're fighting some random mob, you can equip that sacrificial axe and free FP. It's free. Take it. Yeah. So that's Weeping Peninsula. We got all of our upgrades for our flasks. We got our vendors. If you want to make a build that needs the claymore, it's down there. There's a poison thing over there if you want to make a poison guy. There's a scythe for faith builds right there. There's also a physic for faith here above the demi-human ruins. The demi-human ruins also have a sorcery catalyst, a staff that is good if you have low intelligence. There's all kinds of great stuff to get your build up off the ground. Also, right above us, there's a memory stone if you need it. We don't need a memory stone. So we're leaving. We're back in Limgrave. We've covered essentially the western and south part of Limgrave. So now we're going to do the northern part and some of the east stuff. Here you can go to Caelid. Here you can go to Caelid. I'm showing you off Caelid in case you need to go to Caelid. I don't need to go to Caelid right now. But oh yeah, also you can go to Caelid. It's a good point, Saint, from the past. You can go to Caelid through the elevator. I don't know why I'm showing you that much of Caelid. I'm sure I had something in mind, but it escapes me. We're gonna head, I think this would be east of the Grace we were just at. We're gonna go to this statue right here. We're gonna let one of these giants smash it for us. It's gonna give us some upgrade materials. Upgrade materials are good. And since this build does not have to watch his weight, we're gonna have a fully upgraded weapon. The faster I get a fully upgraded weapon, the better. So let's have this giant smash this for us here. Thank you. Now we got some upgrade materials. Boom. Tier 1 and Tier 2. Very nice. In the network test, these trolls dropped upgrade materials, but they don't seem to drop them in the real game. Strange. So we have 15 Tier 1s and 5 Tier 2s. Something like that. And we've even got a Tier 3 upgrade material. It's not going to do us any good, though. This guy right here, I like to kill these guys because they're just fun. This is one way to fight him. Just stay in his back, and he'll do his shield smash more often than not. And you can just beat the crap out of him while he's doing that. And then just roll everything. Pretty simple. This dude's only dangerous if you're far away from him. So a lot of his moves try and make you far away from him. Like he'll grab you and throw you. Stuff like that. But just stay close. This Grace right here is where Bernal hangs out. You can get your Smashes of War. And directly north of here, you can go get invaded by what's-his-name. And you should do that because it gets you a talisman. There's no reason not to. I'm going to skip that part. You don't need to see it. It's whatever. I'm going to grab the Strength Knot Talisman for our Wondrous Physic here. And there's 10 Strength. It's temporary, but it's 10 Strength. It's 10 levels. It's 10 flat defense. It's 10 levels worth of damage. Right next to this place is the Storm Hill Shack, I think it's called. And we have an NPC here. She's necessary for us to upgrade our Spirit Summons. And also, she will give you a seed for your flask. Also, there's a seed for your flask directly behind her. How you get the seed that she gives you is up to you. You can do her quest in Stormvale and find the note from her men and bring it back to her here. And she will leave and then give you the seed. Or if you don't do her quest, she just leaves the seed right there in the shack. I'm going to run over here. I'm going to grab Storm Wall. It's a parry. It is not as good as Carrion Retaliation or Golden Parry, but it's like one tier below that. It's better than the regular parry by a lot, and it's worth grabbing. It will allow us to parry projectiles, but more importantly, it just gives us more parry frames. Fighting Margit, the Fell Omen. People complain about this dude a lot, having really long wind-ups on his attacks. There's a lot of enemies that have long wind-ups in their attacks in Elden Ring. And swing at them, hit them, just hit them when they're doing their long wind-up. The game is showing you that if you try and punish the slow attack, he's going to hit you with his fast dagger. The game is trying to teach you. Learn. It's time to learn. You have to learn a thing. And so that's what we're going to learn. If we try and punish the slow attack, he's just going to hit us with the dagger. Right? So you've played Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2 and Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3. You wait for the slow attack, and then you hit him. And, right? No, we're not doing that. It's Sekiro. We're playing Sekiro, damn it. It's Elden Ring. We can just parry the shit out of him, you know? If you want. You can. You don't have to. But that's an option that you have available to you. The other option is, you know, when he goes to do his big, long, wind-up attacks, just run in there and hit him. Just beat the crap out of him. You know? But, yeah, if you try and just, like, stand in front of him and wait for him to do his long wind-up, yeah. We're going to the Roundtable hole.
It seems torrent, whereas I may there is, but I can take gathering. Very well, let my hand.
You'll know how to lay out your own.
Let's upgrade our weapon. We can go up to +4 at this point. That's nice. It's better than +3. Not ready to go up to +6 just yet, unfortunately. But that's where we're at in terms of our upgrades and stuff. Now, I'm ready. I'm going to Caelid. You can go to Caelid before this if you have needed to. I've already told you that. Grael's Dragon Barrel. I'm leaving this dude alone. I'm not messing with him. Not yet. You can if you want to. If you're ready to take him on, go for it. He's worth a ton of runes. I call this the Caelid Western Tour. And the Caelid Western Tour is where you get your runes to level up. And that dude is part of the Caelid Western Tour. You've got the Gargoyle, the Dragon, the Tree Avatar, Night Cavalry, and then Grael herself. And all of these things will get you 1 billion runes. I showed you how to fight dragons, remember? It's the same thing. We did the same thing here. It just takes forever because we don't do any damage. But it's just a matter of doing it. If he breathes his fire, you're going to run to one side of the bridge or the other. Ignore those runes. I did this on the first try. It was so easy for me that I did it on the first try. I never mess up. So we got 1 million runes off that, right? That's going to allow us to level up, and obviously straight into vigor, 40 vigor, boom, done. That's like mid-level build vigor right there. We've even got enough to put a point into strength. And then from here you can go do Tree Avatar, you can go do Grael, you can do Night Cavalry, you know. You can do the Gargoyle if you're ready for him. You can do the Godskin Apostle at the bottom of the Caelid Tower. You can do the Bell-bearing Hunter. All these dudes are going to drop a lot of runes by the standards that we have at this low level right here. So these dudes dropping us so many runes is essentially like taking us from level 15 or level 20 or whatever all the way up to level 50, 60, 70, depending on how much you want to do. This dude is basically just about rolling his jump attack. The avatars typically, when they do their jump attack, you can just jump attack them while they're doing their jump attack. But you can't with these guys because they throw Scarlet Rot everywhere. And so we have to actually stick to their side and just dodge. But the other ones you can just jump over the jump attack and jump the shockwave and hit them, and it's much faster. This guy we have to actually kind of be careful though. Here we get some points in strength. This doesn't matter. Look how little it's actually increasing our AR, strength or dex, either one, doesn't matter. That's because our weapon's not upgraded. So the next thing we need to do, the next important thing here, is to upgrade our weapon. Weapon scaling doesn't even start to get good until the weapon is almost fully upgraded. And that's when it kind of starts to matter a little bit. And then once the weapon's fully upgraded, that's when the payoff hits. That's when the scaling is actually doing noticeable change to your weapon's damage. I'm going to run up here. I'm going to deal with Bell-bearing Hunter at this shack. Keep in mind, if you're doing the Bell-bearing Hunter, you have to talk to the NPC sit down, make it night, stand up, sit down, right? It's a thing. I don't know, but I've seen people be confused by it before, about how come sometimes he appears and sometimes he doesn't. You have to have talked to the NPC, and you have to have made it night and then sat down again. But this is where we're at on the map. This is also a nice grace, because this is going to allow us to get into the Caelid Tower after we've beaten Radon. Once we've beaten Radon, we can use Radon's Great Rune, and it's actually very nice to help us get through some of the harder stuff, because it gives us FP, which allows us to summon spirit summons that we might not have the FP for. Another thing you can do is you can get the Physic tier that gives you infinite FP, and you can summon whoever you want with that. You don't even, you can just ignore the FP requirement, because you have infinite FP, so you can summon whoever you want, regardless of whether or not your build has that much FP on it. Not really a problem for this build. Also, that was another way that you can fight Bellbearing Hunters. Just parry the hell out of them. And that is also allowing you to stay close. And if you stay close to him, he's not as dangerous. So I've come here to Fort Gale for the +5 strength talisman, because I have all these talisman pouches and nothing to do with them, so I might as well, +5 strength. Why not? That's damage, and it's flat defense, and that's good. You can also get Lion's Claw here if you want, but the real reason that I've come to Caelid is because I want this whetstone. This is for strength builds, but it also gives you fire infusion, and fire infusion this early in the game is the way to go, in my opinion. If you would prefer like a magic infusion for your magic build, then instead of coming here, go to Raya Lucaria, But for this build, this is what makes sense. But this is where we want to get our whetstone that we're going to be using until we get, our build finished. The fire infusion is the way to go for us. If you need the lightning infusion, then you've got to get to Leyndell as fast as possible. But while we're in Caelid, we'll grab some more seeds. If you want to, you can hit up Celia, and you can go visit Millicent. You can do her little quest to get the +5 Dex talisman. I've got the +5 strength talisman. Maybe you want the +5 Dex talisman. You can hit it up here while you're here. But we're done. We're going to go now to Liurnia, and here we are. I'm showing you where you can find some flask seeds to upgrade your flask. They're here on my map. Anywhere you see on my map with a little blue talisman icon, that is where you're going to get yourself a flask seed. Also, while we're here, we can talk about EG. EG can get you a +4 somber weapon right off the bat, and somber weapons are a big deal. They count as 2.5 for every 1 upgrade that you do. There's the mine in Liurnia that is going to get us a bell bearing for smithing stones up to a +6 weapon. What this means is that every weapon we own can be +6. So, think about what the game is telling you. The game is saying, here's infinite +6. You should be over that. Does that make sense? So when you go get the +6 bell bearing, the enemies are going to be dropping +7 stones, because you should be over +6. We're giving you the ability to have infinite +6, right? Also, let's go ahead and rip this band-aid off. Go ahead and come here. If you're making an invader, you got to do Ranni quest. You have to. 1, it's going to allow you to unlock more areas. That's more places to invade. There's no reason not to do it. 2, there's too much good stuff in Ranni quest. So, it just, just accept it. Just bite that bullet, bud, because you're doing Ranni quest. Again, for every invader. Every build. Every build is doing Ranni quest. Sorry. All right, so I've come here to the Church of Inhibition, and I've grabbed my flask tier, and I've beat Vike. This is, if you're making a faith build, hey, great, but I'm not. But here's some churches where you can get some flask upgrades. But the Church of Inhibition, we're getting that on purpose, because when we start to do Vari's quest, we can just warp straight here and get the blood-soaked cloth of a maiden. There's a grace right there, in case you need it, close to Vari. Also, while you're here, make sure you do Raya's quest. Go talk to Raya right there, next to the telescope. Go talk to Crabman. Come back and talk to Raya again. And now Raya will be waiting for you in the Altus Plateau. And, yeah, we're going to get kidnapped as soon as we get into Raya Lucaria. We're not going to finish Raya Lucaria. I mean, you can if you want. There's another seed right up there if you want to grab it, but we're not. We're going to get kidnapped. Once we're kidnapped, we go to Mount Gelmir. This is where you will find some seeds for your flask in Mount Gelmir, showing that off. We're going to circle all the way around from the Seathwater Terminus. We're going to take the long way. You don't have to fight the bosses here. You can just run past the demi-human queen. If you want to, you can run past the dragon guy, whatever. Doesn't matter. But right here, this dude, this vendor, this is a good guy. I will stand right here and invade. This is where I invade from until I have maximum ballista bolts or cannon bolts. He sells the explosive ones, so make sure you know where that guy's at. That guy rules. He also gives you the Volcano pot cookbook. This is where Raya will be once you get out of being kidnapped. She'll be standing right there in those ruins. Sorry. Alright, so we're out of Mount Gelmir. We are now in Altus Plateau proper. Pop open the map. I'll show you where you can find some seeds and some points of interest, you know, for your flask, for your... also, the churches. Take note of where the churches are at for your flasks. I've got... there should be a blue icon here for a flask seed, but I didn't put it down. Sorry. But there's a church, and then right above the church... there's a church right above that. Go here. Do this dungeon. It's going to give you the talisman that makes your flask heal you for more. Every invader should have that. And if you can make the swap to it, do it. Then right here, next to this tree, those ruins, there is a cookbook that makes warming stones. Every invader needs that. Grab that. If you want, you can do the frenzied warming stones. If you prefer, they're better, they're more efficient, but I don't like to do that on every build. Just, you know, it's not lore appropriate for all my characters. You know what I'm saying? Some of them aren't frenzy guys. So, whatever. But make sure you have a cookbook for warming stones. You're gonna dang need it. Keep in mind, warming stones do cost FP. They're not free. Right? They're not free. So, man. Oh, it sure does suck that you have to give up FP to make a warming stone. Except, we got the sacrificial axe. Remember? Alright. Also, make sure you get the Poison Swamp. I'm not going to show you when I get it. It doesn't matter. But make sure you do get it, because it's a great place to invade. Also, Godfrey icon, if you're using charge attacks or charged up spells, is right there on the map. And that's Altus Plateau. So now we're in Leyndell. Leyndell, we are getting a ton of seeds, right? There's a seed right here, and then there's 2 seeds all over the place. Also, there's a seed right here. It's a tree spirit, ulcerated tree spirit. If you beat him, you get a seed. Also, that's where the giant crusher is at. And here's your mine, and this is going to get you plus 12 weapons. This is the plus 12 mine right there. So make sure you do that. Get that bell bearing. And the enemies in the plus 12 mines will drop you plus 13 tier smithing stones. And you'll pick up plus 13 tier smithing stones off the ground there. So you should have, you know, at least a plus 13 weapon here. But make sure you do that mine. And then there's all kinds of seeds here. Right here, like there's 2 seeds, like literally right here. And then you walk up the street like 5 seconds, and then there's 2 more seeds right there. So this is getting us really close to fully upgraded weapon. I'm an idiot. A fully upgraded flask. I'm sorry. I've been talking for 45 minutes. Do you understand? Do you understand? I've taken like a 6-hour process and I've cooked it down into 1 hour. All right? I'm trying to cover all this stuff, and I'm trying to give you all that sweet, sweet commentary to help you out. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, 2 seeds there, 2 seeds here. Golden Parry is right here if you want Golden Parry for your build. And why wouldn't you? I like Carrion Retaliation. Maybe you like Golden Parry. It's whatever. You like what you like. But that's it. Yeah, this is what we're gonna need. There's also obviously some seeds to upgrade our flask in Leyndell proper. We're right outside Leyndell. Ulcerated Tree Spirit. It's fast forward. You know, you can slow it down if you want. This is how you fight him. Just walk into him. Just literally walk into him. There's so much stuff in Elden Ring that you can just literally walk into. The gargoyles, just walk into them. There's, you know, attacks you have to dodge, but then there's attacks that have follow-ups, and you don't have to dodge those if you just stay close, if you just walk towards them. Yeah. Hey, here's Gravitas doing the thing I said it did, by the way. There's that. Anytime you see a scarab like that, Gravitas. It's super easy, and it also kill birds so that you can get feathers and chicken feet so that you can increase your item discovery or get more runes. But you need cookbooks for that, so, you know, make sure that that's the thing. And then, yeah, that's it. And then we're in the dungeons, we're running around, and I know why I recorded this. I recorded this because I was trying to show you, like, hey, you know, if you're here to get the plus 12 weapon upgrade, while you're getting that, you're gonna find, you know, well, I take it back because this isn't that dungeon. My point still stands. This is the 1-2 dungeon. We just picked up a bunch of 3s. I hope that makes sense. So when you're in the dungeon to get the bell bearing that will sell you tier 1 and 2, while you're in that dungeon, you're going to be picking up tier 3, right? Okay.
We rarely receive visitors to the Volcano Manor without invitation. So, tarnished. Have you ever harbored doubts about the burden of grace and the dogmatic ramblings of the fingers? If you have, why not join the Volcano Manor and fight with us, rise with us, against the Erd Tree?
Gotta do Tanith quest. Gotta do it. Just say yes. 1, there's fashion, and that's nice, and that's good. Because look at us. We're looking a little rough here. The tier 3 bell bearing is located in the Mountaintops of Giants, which is where we're at now. This is going to allow us to buy 5 and 6 tier upgrades. And here's where it's located on the map, in the Zamor Ruins, right after you get off the elevator, the lift of Rolled. So there's that if you need it. But the Tanith questline is important because it's also going to give us the Taker's Cameo. Every invader needs Taker's Cameo. This Hermit Merchant here, this is another one. I'll come to this guy, I'll stand here and I'll just invade until I have made enough runes to buy 1 billion lightning great bolts for my ballista or my jar cannon, whichever one. So this is where he's at. You have to ride all the way around, and you're doing Tanith quest, so you had to beat what's his name anyway, Bloodhound Step Whipmaster Hoslow. Yeah, you had to beat that guy. So anyway, I'll just hang out right here and just invade from this spot until I have enough bolts. Once we hit this place here, we have, you know, we've been exploring, we've picked up all the seeds and all the dungeons that we couldn't skip. You know, I mean, I guess you could skip Stormveil, but don't. I didn't show you how to do it, but you should know how to do Stormveil. And Leyndell, I didn't show you how to do Leyndell, but you should know how to do Leyndell. And get those seeds, and you're done. We've upgraded our flask completely. Now we're going underground. We've gone to Noxtella. We beat the reindeer, and from the reindeer, we're going to take his talisman. And then once we finish Tanith Quest, we've got Taker's Cameo. Every invader build needs both of these. So Taker's Cameo gives you HP back anytime something dies, even if you're an invader, even if you're in someone else's world and they're fighting enemies. And the Ancestral Spirit's Horn does the same thing, except for with FP instead of HP. So between the Taker's Cameo and the Ancestral Spirit's Horn and the Sacrificial Axe, we can regain all kinds of HP, all kinds of FP. We can use that FP to put down a Warming Stone for free. And sometimes invasions go on for a long time. Every invader build needs these things. It doesn't matter if you have the stats to use the Sacrificial Axe or not. Have the Taker's Cameo, and have the other thing. Now, we're ready to go talk to Vare. Vare is going to give us, a thing.
When Elden Ring was shattered, the two fingers were corrupted, their guidance skewed. Even worse, the fingers harbor no love for our kind. That's the part that burns the most. Oh, I have a gift for you, something fit only for the wise. A means for circumventing the draw of the two fingers. Give it a try, won't you? And if it please you, may we meet again. I've high hopes for you, my lambkin.
Now, if you don't want to do 3 invasions, why wouldn't you? But if you don't want to, you can go to the Wraithblood Ruins, and they have added an NPC for you to invade here, and just beat him. And once you beat him, Vare's quest is count as complete. You don't have to do 3 invasions. So if it's faster for you to do this, do it. But it also nets you a Somber Smithing Stone 6 if you need one of those, as well as a Great Stars. This is where you will find the sign to do the invasion for Vare. It's right here. Also, the Wraithblood Ruins, it rules. You should come here anyway, because you can pick up some sacramental buds to cure Scarlet Rot. The next thing we need to do is get that blood-soaked cloth, and remember, a long time ago, we already did the Church of Inhibition, so we can just warp directly there and get that instantly.
Normally this ritual would involve killing one's own maiden and recanting the wisdom of the two fingers. But since you are maidenless, the blood of anyone's maiden will do.
So let's go ahead and warp right there, and let's grab that. And boom, you got 2 invader fingers, you've got a fully upgraded flask, you've got the Warming Stones, you've got the Talismans, you've got the Sacrificial Axe. You're good. You're golden. It's that's finished, baby. That's done. I hope, if you want to put this video on when you're making a build, and just sort of double check, make sure you got everything, it'll be here. That's what people wanted, so that's why I made it. It's a little how to start an invader guide. And again, I'm not going over all the different weapons and builds and everything. I'm showing you where to get the upgrade materials. What level are you? Are you level 40? You probably want a +5, +6 weapon. Are you level 80? You probably want a +15 to +17 weapon. If you're going up to 100, maybe you want +21, and then anything over that, you obviously would want to have maxed upgrade weapon. But that's it. That's it. We're done. Google the stuff, the weapons, the spells you want, and get to it. And I'll see you next time. Until then, later, y'all.